Here we will prove that under root 2 is an irrational number, and for that we assume that under root 2 is not irrational. So if under root 2 is not irrational, what it means that under root 2 is a rational number. So again I'm saying we are assuming that it is not irrational. Fine, this is our assumption here. So under root 2 is a rational number. So how can we write this? So under root 2 can be written as, it can be written in the form of p by q. Any rational number can be written in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0, right? And now we assume that let p and q have any common factor and other than 1, then we divide p and q with that common factor, and when we divide p and q with that common factor, then this term under root 2 will change to a upon b. So in order to explain this, how I have changed p by q to a by b, then just for example consider that p is equal to 30, q is equal to 35, right? P can be written as 5 6 30, and how q can be written as 6 sorry 7 5 35, right? So here I told you that we will divide p and q with the factors which are common to both. So here also p and q have common factors 5. So if I divide p with the common factor 5, then I will be left with 6 only, right? If I divide q with common factor 5, then it will be crossed, and then we will be left with 7 only. So this 6 and 7 are equal to a and b. So when we divide p and q with common factors, then the terms come out to be something else, a and b, and those terms will be co-prime. So here a and b will be co-prime. What is the meaning of co-prime? Co-prime means the numbers which are prime to each other having no common factor. Here also we see that 6 and 7 have no any common factor, so these are co-prime numbers, right? So again I want to give this equation as number 1. Now under root 2 can be written as, and this can be written as under root 2, b will go in this side, b is equal to a. Now square both the sides, this is equal to 2b square is equal to a square. Again can I write b square is equal to a square upon 2? So here it means that 2 divides a square, fine, and a square can be written as a multiplied by a divided by 2. So if 2 divides a square, that means 2 divides a also. So if 2 divides a, that means a has some factor which is equal to 2, fine. So how I'm saying, for example, here I'm taking example, let us take a is equal to 8. So if a is equal to 8, then 2 divides 8, so 8 is can be written as 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. So yes, a has that factor 2, that is why 2 divides a, fine. So in the same way, in case a is equal to 10, so 10 can be written as 2 multiplied by 5. So 2 is the factor here, that is why 2 is dividing a, है ना? So in the same way, if 2 divides a, that means a has 2 as one of its factors. So from this I'm writing a can be written in the form of 2r, so that means 2 is one of its factor, fine. This is our star equation. Now fill this equation. A is equal to 2r you can fill over here, or you can fill here also, then we have to do squaring, etc. So I will directly fill in this equation. So what will happen? 2b square is equal to a square is equal to 2 square 4, then r square. After cancelling, I will get b square is equal to 2r square. Fine. Again, this equation can be written as r square, and 2 will go down to b square upon 2. Again, 2 divides b square. In the same way, b can be written as b cross b upon 2. And if 2 divides b square, 2 divides b also. Here also in the same way, as I said, 2 divides a, so a can be written as 2r. If 2 divides b, so b will also be written as in the form of 2s. So here constant was r, here I am taking constant s. So 2 will be the factor. Fine. If 2 divides b, then b will be equal, b must have 2 as one of its factors. That is why it is dividing. If I say that b is equal to 9, and 9 will be equal to 3 cross 3, so b cannot be equal to 9. Why? Because 2 is not any of its factor. Fine. So it can be 10, 8, 16, 4, 24, 100, in which 2 is one of their factors. So this will not be any value of b and a, because 2 is not their factors. So here b, as I have already mentioned, 2 divides b, so b will be written in the form of 2s. So we have these two star equations. Fine. A is equal to 2r, b is equal to 2s, and so a and b, a is equal to 2r, b is equal to 2s. So from a and b, we see that 2 is their common factor. 2 is the factor which is common to both the numbers a and b. But this is in contradiction with the equation 1. Why? Because we said that this is a and b are co-prime. Co-prime means there will be no any factor which is common to both, which is a contradiction. Fine. This is a contradiction. Why we reach to a contradiction? Because in the beginning we assumed that under root 2 is not a rational number, and that assumption is wrong. So that is why we reach to a contradiction in the end, which proves that under root 2 is an irrational number. Fine. So this is the proof that why under root 2 is an irrational number. In such ways we can also find why under root 3 is a irrational number, why under root 5 is an irrational number, why under root 11 is an irrational number. So in such ways we can prove all these values. Thank you so much for watching.